Hello and welcome to ShrimpsTV. And as you can see today, I've got Danny Carlton on. Hiya, Danny. How you doing, mate?
Good afternoon, Michael. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, pal. Very good. So let's start out by I've got a few questions for you, some quick fire questions that I want to ask you.
Oh, here we go.
So, favorite match you've played in? I can already guess this one.
Yeah, everyone knows that, don't they? Back in 2007 itself. Yeah, it's got to be Wembley, hasn't it? I think there's been great games before that. Obviously, the playoffs. Went through three of them, unfortunately, to get to Wembley. But yeah, it has to be Wembley. Unbelievable day for everybody associated to the club. So, that's got to be the best game without question that I've played in.
Absolutely. It is for anyone. Favorite footy anthem?
Bit of Vindaloo for me, I think.
Vindaloo. One of my favourites.
Always once it comes on, everyone's all over it. So, yeah, I've got to say, probably showing my age a little bit there. But yeah, Vindaloo's probably, the chant.
Oh, no, it's got to be. It's one of my favourites as well.
Was it your one? It wasn't 96, so I think it was later than that. I think it from 2000, somewhere around there.
I think it's 2000. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's 2000.
No, it's an unbelievable tune.
It is. So, favourite teammate that you've ever played with?
Favourite teammate?
Yeah.
Good question, that one. I mean, there's only a few players that I probably still speak to, really. Not many of them. I think it's like anything. It's like a job, innit? You're all associated with each other, but then you all venture on to different things. So, I mean, Gary Hunter's obviously someone I speak to quite a lot. He's still local, like myself, in Morecambe. So, going on his stag doing a couple of months' time. So that'll be interesting.
Very nice.
But no, I'd say Gary Hunter. Obviously, there's one I talked to, but like I said, all the lads are great. He had wonderful days and nights and Christmas dues as we're talking festive now. So, it was, there's quite a few of the lads that I've gone really well with throughout my career, really.
Very good. Good to hear that you're still very close.
Yeah, he's a nice lad. He's got his own dog business now, so he's got his own kind of career in that, which he's doing successful with. So, speak to Barry Roach now and then. Obviously, played a lot with Baz. Obviously, Les, he's not a player, but Les Dew as the kit man. Obviously, lived with him for a period of time. So, still got quite a lot of people associated to the club that, get on really well with.
It's good to hear that. It's good to hear that you still got a lot of good contacts, good friends that you have made for life.
Yeah, it's like celebrity getting out of here, isn't it? You go in there and all the events.
Favourite bathroom memory?
Bathroom memory? Jesus. I think it's my first bathroom, real, like, old school kind of bathroom memory. Got to be, we played York, and I can't remember. I think it was the first leg. I think when Wayno scored with his nutsack, I think, if I remember correctly. I think it might have been that game. But they had the old school baths. So they didn't have showers at that point. They had this big
sorry,
bath.
I meant back room, not bathroom.
Oh,
back room, no. Back room. I thought he kept saying bathroom. I was like, is he saying back room or bathroom here?
Well, the bathroom was York. It was a good laugh. Stood up in a 6 foot.
I bet you were thinking, what a weird question. This is what's he asking about bathrooms for. No, back room. The kit room.
Your favourite backroom staff?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. Yeah. Like memories. Like when you go back into the kit room, like your favourite memories out of there. What banter like with your teammates and stuff? What stories have you got to tell us?
Yeah, I mean, there were tons of them. Like, say, some of the football, the players are ruthless. I've been into change rooms when you're out training, you come back up and all your shoelaces are all cut. And I've been training at Carlisle when a few of the lads were injured. We had Michael Bridges, the ex-Leeds, Newcastle. He was at Carlisle at the time. He used to live in Wetherby. He was just full of crack. He was, full of banter. He had a Mustang convertible, and he drove from Wetherby to Carlisle up the A66 in the snow with his roof down with Hawaiian clothes on. So leading up to Christmas, he was just rocking up, and there was snow coming down. But I mean, don't get me wrong, he had probably had the money to do it at that point. But yeah, he was probably the one that you'd be worried about if you were around him, just because he'd just get up to mischief and all kinds of stuff that he'd do.
Absolutely. Favourite manager to play under?
Probably two, really. I think Sammy Mack, obviously, through my period when I was there, he kind of just understood me a little bit. You know, he didn't kind of coach me, if that made sense. He just kind of just let me go out, express myself.
Knew your talents, knew what you were capable of, and just let you get on with it.
Exactly. It was probably, you know, it was Jim Harvey, really. You know, when I first started, who kind of coached me and kind of moulded me into a striker. I think, you know, from that perspective, just worked on a few tactical things, when to go, when to pull off. But obviously, Jim and Sammy was obviously had a relationship, which kind of soured a little bit, I think, towards the end. But I think between them two, I can't kind of choose between them. I think if anyone, probably Jim Harvey, because kind of give me a chance and obviously, you know, coach me onwards and upwards, really.
Absolutely. Favorite match day food item?
Match day food item. Got to be pie and peas, hasn't it? You know, you can't go wrong with a pie and peas. Bovril. If I went to a game, go down to Morecambe, chicken ham and leek pie, one of Morecambe's finest.
Yeah, that's a personal favourite, that.
Yeah, washed down with a Bovril or a pint, depending obviously on weather. But yeah, you can't go wrong with a Morecambe pie.
No, you can't. That's why they're award winning. And make sure when you're at the ground to get one.
Bit of publicity there for you.
Absolutely. Best ground you've played at?
Away from Wembley, because I think obviously it's the obvious choice. Played at Ellen Road. Obviously being a Leeds fan, that was a wonderful experience going there. Played there when I was about 14 as well in a cup final, so that was a wonderful, you know, kind of day. You know, we got beaten extra time, unfortunately. But I've been fortunate to play for a few really nice grounds. Millwall, that was a nice ground. Obviously, you think our fans were bad? You wanted to go there. They were bad.
They've got a bad reputation, haven't they? Of Millwall, still have to stay.
Yeah, not certainly have. Obviously, from that point of view, Sunderland Stadium of Light obviously played there. Notts Forest, City Ground. They're all quite compact, really, but they're all quite modern in that regard. So, yeah, I've been fortunate to play in a few of them. But yeah, away from Wembley, I'd have to say Ellen Road, just because as a Leeds fan, it's probably a dream to play there as well.
I really liked the Portsmouth ground when I went. I'm not Fratton Park. I really liked that on Saturday. I thought it was a really nice looking ground. It's quite appealing.
Yeah, I haven't played there actually. It's one ground. Well, there's quite a few actually that I haven't played at, but yeah, it kind of comes across a little bit old school. Probably with a bit like
it's lovely. Yeah, it is. It gives you that old school feel, and that's probably why I liked it actually, because I like the old looking grounds. I like them. They give you a good like Christy Park feel, I think.
Yeah, that was unbelievable, that ground, wasn't it? You know, feeling that was to go out there with that north stand.
That's got to be up there though, hasn't it? That's got to be one of the best grounds. Christy Park, that's got to be one.
100%. When you've got 2,500 behind that north stands, and it was like everyone's shoulder touch tight, you know, it was weird when you used to then play the other end, and then the fans used to go in the Umbro stand. It was just like unbelievable how you could walk around. Now you can't do it.
I know. There's so many rules and regulations now. Well, it's just for going off what's happened recently with like fans and stuff. It wouldn't be great, would it?
No, they'd be kicking off, wouldn't they? Be fighting everywhere, wouldn't they? Especially in the league now, certain clubs.
I know, with how close everything is, and God. Right, so we'll move on from the quick fire questions, and we'll go on to the main topics to talk about.
Here we go, main topics.
I want to talk about your career. Yeah, what's your specialist subject?
It's not me, believe it or
not. Well, yeah, I wanted to talk firstly about your youth side days at Morecambe, how you started out, just where your love of football came from.
Yeah, you know, just enjoyed football from a young age, and you know, I had just as most people do, play local. Obviously, I was brought up in Leeds in Yorkshire, so you know, it was a bit of an eye opener, really. I think with all the massive clubs you had around there, Sheff Wednesday, Huddersfield, Sheffield United, Leeds, there was a lot of scouting going on. Unfortunately, I didn't actually get scouted, you know, that period of time, and kind of wrote to every football club that I could think of when I was about 15, just asking for a trial. 16, I think it was actually. And then obviously Dickie Danson, you know, unfortunately passed away. He was pretty much the only person who wrote back to me and said, come for a trial and come and play for us. So I did a trial, part of the college course as well at Lancaster and Morecambe, and I didn't think I had to do any studies. I thought, hey, I'm just coming to play and, play on a Saturday and play Wednesdays and train with the first team. Obviously got that all wrong. But luckily enough, 6 months later, Jim Harvey then just said to me, he said, you got your 2-year course here, but, we kind of want to take you on up to reserves and first team. And yeah, I mean, in that early days of the academy, we had a real good team, Liam Steele, Alex Porter, we had Jamie Hastings, Gary Hunter was in that as well at period of times. I think Tomo and Perks had just gone a year above us at that point. So obviously they'd already got into the first team.
Yeah.
George Melling, there was tons of players that I played with, but like I say, it was all a handful that made it. And then Jim Harvey said, come and play for us, joined the first team, did a lot of travelling up and down that coach, not playing, just making coffees for everyone. So I think that's a little bit what's probably gone out of the game a little bit with the academy lads and they get paid a lot of money in the Premiership now, but it was like, got to do your hard graft and make the coffees going to Margate on a Tuesday night and getting home at 4 a.m. was never great.
I can imagine, to be honest, mate. I can imagine it not being great. But after all of that, after you've done your coffee runs and stuff, how did you end up getting into the first team? And was it quite a long and hard process, or was it short and sweet?
It was tough, very, old school at the time when I started. You had Ian Arnold, Johnny Norman, Gauke, Colks, Drummy, Craig Mawson. So, I remember that. I think it was about the second training session, and obviously just joining in with them, and as you do, kind of young, full of attitude, and obviously confident in myself. I remember putting a ball through Gauke's legs and shouted Megs as I run after him. They grabbed me by my top and said, if you ever do that again, I'll break your leg. And I was like, whoa, welcome to first team football kind of thing. Yeah. I think actually that though, it was tough to get into the team, and obviously it was waiting your chance, but I was only young, so I had Robbie Talbot. I think obviously fortunate enough for me, not for him, I think he had a real bad knee injury at one point, which allowed me to play then. And then I started to kind of make that position my own to some degree. And then Twisser came in, further down the line. And then we kind of built a great relationship up on the pitch. But yeah, it was a great, great time, up and down and coach. The older guys actually were really, really superb. Having a few beers with them on the way back, instead of making coffees, I was playing cards.
Exactly.
So, times have changed within 6 months.
It's good to hear that. It's good to hear that you had a good, you had a good time. So you're in the first team now, 185 appearances, and you scored 60 goals in your first. Well, that's what I've been told. That's what I've seen. That's what I've got here. Is that close? 185 appearances in your first stint, 60 goals. What were your favourite goals and matches, if you remember? Well, obviously you'll remember some of them in your time during that first stint at Morecambe. Yeah,
I mean, I've got like a few goals that always stick in the memory bank. Really, I remember Grays in the when we were away and we I scored a header at the near post. That got us into the. I think that got us into the playoffs actually for Wembley. I think we had to win that game to get like second or third. I think it was. So, that was one of them goals that always sticks me. I remember scoring at Woking away. I broke my arm. Or playing with a cast on. What was that?
You never hear of you don't. Yeah, you don't hear of those.
No,
where they're at now. Or have we folded?
They're in conference. Yeah,
conference still there.
And so yes, that was remember that one just because I turned and swiveled, and it was one of them kind of instinct kind of goals. Southport away, a nice header. I think that was Boxing Day. Gravesend away, a volley, come over chest volley. Dagenham, Tony Roberts, I always seem to do well against him. So got a nice one away at their new ground. Actually, I think we won 3-1 if I remember correctly. I got 2 there, but you can kind of just all come flowing back when you start thinking about it.
Yeah. I'm
Very
not,
nice
I'm
to
not surprised, really. Just the amount of cracking goals you've probably scored, and you just come flowing back.
definitely, yeah, without question. I probably should have scored more. Drummy used to call me Danny 10 chances. So, that's what he used to call me every game. So I narrowed it down to 5, I think, by the end of my career. So I actually progressed.
Exactly. There you go. Career progression. You've got that there.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So after your first stint, you got to Carlisle. And there's one game I do want to talk about. I want to talk about the 3-2 against Bristol. How much is that stuck in your memory, and how good was that for you?
Yeah, it's kind of mixed feelings, really. It was first game of the season, obviously. Got into the team, scored 2 goals, like I say, away. I think it was the first or second. I can't remember which game it was actually. But yeah, to be fair, it started really well. But I only played 5 games that season for them. You go back to Kev Ellison and manager and having a few kind of barneys and stuff, and I was the same really. Just played 5 games. We got beat by Leeds at home. I think 3-4-0. I think it was, and then literally didn't play for them after that. Then went on loan to Darlington and they went into administration, so it was a tough time. But yeah, I mean, it was a wonderful day for the 2 goals and the journey back and stuff. But once again, just get the mixed feelings of what could have been if I'd just had the opportunity to keep playing. Anything could have been different. Playing with Danny Graham at the point, look at his career he had, beyond, Carlisle. So not that it was a bit of wishful thinking of what could have been, because I never think that way, but almost it was at that point.
Yeah. Well, it's sad to hear that, really, don't you? It's not. It's like going from Morecambe to going to Carlisle, only playing 5 games or so. What were your thoughts at that point? What were you thinking? What were you thinking after your 5 games and you were moving on? What sort of happened there?
I think you just, like I say, there's not you can do. I think it's in any walk of life. You go into a job, it doesn't mean you're always going to get on with the manager, but you still want to give 110%, no matter if you like him or not. It's not about the manager. It's not about you or him. You just want to play football. Exactly. And I think a lot of like Kev and a lot of these players that you get now, you don't want to be on the bench. You just want to be playing. It's boring training Monday to Friday and then not getting just sitting on a bench. You kind of feel like you're stealing a living sometimes as well, because you're not playing. So at that point, I just wanted to play. So that's why I went on loan to Darlington, and stayed there for about 6 months. We were in the playoffs, I think, certainly in the playoffs at that point. But obviously they went into administration, so they got the points deducted. But yeah, you just want to play games, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So in around 2011, you go back to Morecambe after you've been to Bury and you've been to Darlington and Grimsby and stuff. And you play a few more games, you score some more goals. And then in 2012, your injury strikes. So what was it? And how was like your rehab? How was your rehab there? How was it getting back into the swing of things? And how hard was it for you personally? How did you get on?
Yeah, like I say, it was great to come back from the Bury time. Obviously, that was a bit of a nightmare, kind of, second game ruptured my Achilles and, out for 9 months really at that point. And me and the manager, once again, he wanted to rush me back and I was like, no, I'm not coming back. And then all of a sudden, because I didn't play for him, he didn't want me in his team. So that second year was, I ended up kind of cutting my contract short really and then come back to Morecambe. I think we were struggling at the time as well. I think we, stayed up by the skin of our teeth. 2-1 away at Barnet, I think it was. Scored literally 2 out of nowhere, 1 off my shin, I think it was, and 1 off my back heel. But then it obviously did me cruciate. That was at Bristol Rovers, actually, away. Tough, yeah, very tough. I think you never want injuries. No one ever does. And it kind of, after that, it was a very tough gig to get back fit. And if, like I say, just never really materialised after that. Obviously, Jim Bentley was the manager at that point, and come back pre-season, obviously, wanting to do really well, and he's probably the fittest I've ever been actually. But unfortunately, I think the club were in a transfer embargo and couldn't sign anyone, and left it a bit too late for myself, and obviously then couldn't sign for Morecambe. Even though I was offering to kind of do it for not for free, but obviously very, very cheap on the monthly wage really. But end up then going to hide at that point and just try to get some game time.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear that you got back really fit. Like you said, it was the fittest you've ever been. So that's good to hear that you managed to get back. So back fit. What was the rehabilitation back then like for yourself? What sort of stuff were you doing, and how did you get back like proper fit?
Yeah, I think there's always a program put in there. Farney was the physio. We had the facilities up at Lancaster Uni. I used to go down to Stockport to it was like a treadmill, but they'd put air in there. So when you were running, it literally like you're just carrying, you were like on the moon to some degree. You weren't carrying your body weight. And then like gradually they'd kind of take the air out. So then by the end of it, you're literally running on your own and with all your body weight. So there's a lot of stuff, weights, you're building up your muscles again, and obviously your balance, proprioception, and, Farney did what he could. Obviously, you are League Two, and, you've not got the facilities as a Premier League where you'll have pretty much a one-to-one physio every day on a training program. So it was tough moments. You are on your own. The lads are going out to train, you're in the gym, and yeah, it's frustrating from everyone's perspective because you want to be a part of it with the lads, but your manager wants you to get fit so you can bring you back into the team. So yeah, it was a tough kind of gig really, 3 or 4 months to get yourself back into training with the lads.
Yeah, perfect. So going back in time again, going back to the 2006-2007 season with Morecambe, for one that everyone talks about to this day, still remembers. Talk me through it. How good was that season for you? Obviously it was great, but talk me through it.
Yeah, it was one of them. Actually, I had an injury probably halfway through that season. I think at Crewe away, I did my medial. So I was out for about 6 weeks. And then I came back, and I think, if I remember correctly, I think I scored 10 in 10. Wow. I think first game, Forest Green. And like I say, that kind of led up to the playoffs, which, having lost twice, it was hopefully not third time lucky. But yeah, York at home, and Drenchy, unfortunately, landed on his elbow, dislocated that, and he couldn't play in the final. So, and then Wayno scored, I think he scored 2 actually, or 1, can't remember actually. I think he got 2, but it was just one of them seasons where it felt like you couldn't do all wrong. If it was almost like when it's a bit against you, you kind of just found something, or we nicked a goal out of nowhere, and you were backs against the wall sometimes. But it's probably the best free-flowing football I think we played for a long, long time. And I think that was down to Sammy, Mark Lillis, I think the staff in general, and the players. I think almost we had no fear when it got to the end of the season. It was like, put whoever you want in front of us. We're very confident we'll beat them. And obviously, we went to Wembley and didn't start very well on that side of things. But that was pretty much like our season, kind of went against us to start with, but we just galvanised ourselves, and ultimately we knew we were going to get chances. And luckily enough, we had them chances and kind of took them, even though Wayne did miss the penalty. Don't mention that to him either. He don't like
no,
that.
don't worry, I won't bring that up to him. I guess it's a sore subject for him.
A little bit, yeah.
It's like his Southgate moment, isn't it?
Well, a little bit, yeah. But
well, exactly, exactly like it. So the goal at Wembley, the goal that everyone talks about, it's still on everyone's minds, that we can still remember. Was it planned? What was your mindset when it happened? What were you thinking? What was going through your head?
Are you allowed to swear on here?
Of course you can. It's how you feel, mate.
That was I was fucked. I'm going to spring my left foot, and yeah, it was. I was tired. It's a massive pitch. It was a warm day. Obviously a lot of the lads are getting to the end, and we were under the cosh at that point. We were kind of just defending, trying to clear our lines, and then to this day, Tomo keeps saying it's in me. I'm not too sure about that. He said if you're lucky looks, I don't think he did. I think he just levered it upfield, and somehow got on the end of it and just run, and then just swung the left. It meant to go bottom right, went top left. It was a tired swing, but it went where it went, and the rest is history really from that perspective. But yeah, it's almost a blur at times as well. kind of have to watch back the DVD, you know, to kind of, wow, you know, it went
You
there.
still got a DVD?
What's
Oh,
that?
of course you have. You still got a DVD of it?
Oh yeah, bad day at work. It goes on at night. You know, it sounds rubbish, like, but yeah, it's just for on. Obviously, having 2 girls now as well. You know, it's nice to show them. You know,
Exactly. Yeah, it's good to show just what you've been doing. Wow, that's cracking. That's really good to hear.
yeah, it was the best bit was afterwards. You know, it sounds weird, like coming on the coach. We went back to the hotel that, you know, where we were staying. We stayed for a couple of nights. I think we went Thursday. We didn't play till the Sunday, I think it was. And then it was just one of them kind of. I had a beer on the coach afterwards. We got a phone call to go back to the hotel. They just put a massive spread on of loads of just the buckets of beer, and it was in the garden there. So we went back there, had a few beers, got on the coach, and then ended back up the Carlton at probably, I think it's about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, where there's about 500 fans there. So, and then stayed there till about 6 in the morning while the birds were chirping, and then got a phone call from Sky at R7 to do an interview. I was like,
oh my God. That's insane. That sounds to me like very similar to what happened back in 2020. Back in earlier 2021.
Yeah.
Like what happened with us at Wembley, because that's pretty much what happened there. Because we had a big party in the garden. Then we came back, but we were at the boardwalk. Sort of a private promotion party happened, and luckily I was in attendance. It was, I'll tell you what, it was a cracking night. I just remember staying up till it was a 24-hour job. We were up at 6:30 in the morning, and I was sat outside talking to Aaron Wildig on the boardwalk, just on the boardwalk, looking out onto the seafront. We were just chatting about the game, and I just remember one thing he told me, which it turns out he'd actually told my mates a couple of hours earlier. He said that the only way to get through life is to be a shithouse. You got to take all the chances you have. Just be a shithouse. That'll stick with me. That, from what Aaron told me, that'll stick with me forever. It's just Aaron to a T. That.
Yeah, like I said, I think the lads, obviously, you know, they appreciate that time with the fans. You know, it's probably rare where it happens. You know, probably not so much. When I started, Michael, you know, we had gone to Christy Park, and you know, you'd have all the lads go in there having pints with the directors and all the fans. You know, you'd be in there till 11 o'clock at night. You know, I've been there with Rod Taylor and Graham Hodgson and Graham House and all of them, really, just having a glass of red with them. It was just crazy how it all started. And now it's like, I'm not saying they don't go in after a game, but you probably don't see the lads as much as you probably would want to from a fan's perspective.
It's a COVID issue. That's the main thing. They would, because the new commercial manager, Martin Thomas, he said on many occasions it'll start again. It's just when COVID restrictions, when COVID restrictions go. Like we probably will see the lads a lot more just when we can. Because I don't know how much you know, but there's a red zone at the minute. We can't really interact fans with players just to keep them safe, because we don't want them missing games. That is the main thing that we don't want. The club just doesn't want to risk any players, and we think that having man of the match ceremonies afterwards and things with the fans and stuff, it's just a risk we're not willing to take, which is absolutely fair enough with everything that's going on at the minute. We don't want a situation where we're having private Christmas parties that get exposed and we play topical humour and the players getting stuff. But that's the main thing. We just need them all fit and healthy, but it'll come back.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone's in the same boat, are
they? Everyone's missing it. We've got a lot of fans who are asking for man of the match ceremonies, but it's coming back. I don't know if you've seen, but we had a Legends Q&A recently.
I've seen a bit of that, so that was good.
Hopefully, we'll get you back at some point for one. Get you and Wayne Owen.
Yeah, we get asked to go down. Obviously, Rod Taylor's superb. You know, obviously.
Oh yeah, he is cracking.
He's great. He just says, Danny, you know, if you want to come down, let me know, and you know, we'll kind of sort a ticket out and stuff. So, you know, I get down there as much as I can, but we work, obviously, working every other Saturday. It depends how it falls, but you know, it's the club's in a wonderful place, you know, and it's nice to see it. Yes, it was always going to be tough this year. You know, I think no one had the illusion we were going to finish 4th, 5th. It was, you know, going to be a battle, but you know, the lads are performing well. You know, it'd be nice to get a few more wins and kind of clear away from the bottom, but it was always going to be tough.
It is. I was going to ask, have you been following this season, all the results? I'm guessing you have been.
Yeah, I've been, since I've been up here in Morecambe. So, obviously watched a lot of the results and keep my eye out. And obviously, we watch them on iFollow sometimes as well. So obviously I get a chance to watch them on there if I can. So it's just been really nice to, like you say, it's the journey, Michael. And from a fan's perspective, it's going to be up and down. From a player, it's going to be exactly the same. And I know, being a player, I know them guys will be hurting, obviously with the results, getting a big result against Sunderland, which is probably not an area where, that beautiful stadium, and you probably feel like you've let yourself down a little bit. But it's more the games against your Fleetwoods, like you keep saying, these bottom teams, Fleetwood, Gillingham's, they're the games you need to win. You're not
Absolutely
Sunderland because they're going to be up there at top of the league. But if you can nick one of them draws, a bit like an Ipswich kind of, hit and run, get out there with a win kind of. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but they'll have enough to get out of it.
We've got tons of them coming up. We've got tons of those games that we were talking about. We've got Fleetwood on Saturday. Then we've got, God, who we've got after that? I think the next one's Bolton on Boxing Day.
All right.
Then we've got Crew. And then, God, who's the last one? I think it's Doncaster, actually. So we've got quite a lot of good games with lower tier League One sides, which is make or break for us, this really.
Big 4 games, like you say, innit? If you can get 3 wins, if you lose one, you lose one. But if you can get 3 wins, Crew, Dave Artell, he knows how to set up a team. Doncaster are struggling. Manager's just gone, if I remember correctly, Richie Wellens. And Bolton are Bolton now. They seem to be struggling since Stockport, really.
Yeah, you do actually. It's a bit of a shame, really, because I've heard it's one of their main strikers is out injured, and that's what's doing him in, really. I think it's back at something. I forgot it. Yeah. You can tell I'm a Morecambe fan. I'm not really that bothered about the B word.
Yeah, exactly. So Ian Evatt, is he still the manager there?
Yeah, he's still there at the minute.
He's done well actually in Barrow, and obviously that's where they started, didn't he? And then he's done well there. Big club Bolton as well, big fan base. So they probably got quite expectations.
It's a shame for him, I think, just for the fans as it is for us when we see it. It's disheartening, really, but it's football at the end of the day. It happens.
I'm a Leeds fan, so I've seen it. Oh Jesus, I've 10 years, 11 years, I think it was, before we could get, maybe longer actually, before we got back in the Prem. And this year's going to be tough. Don't know, you go back to your Morecambe's games where they're all winnable. I'm not sure we can, looking at our results, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool. Good luck with your next 4 fixtures there.
Yeah, they are hard ones. Right. So I want to just talk about, finally, what you're up to now and what are your future plans?
Yeah, so at the moment, obviously, after football, not many footballers have anything to do and career paths. So, yeah, kind of, I won't say fell on my feet a little bit, but I worked with Peter Dalbigan, who I used to work with his wife in a children's centre. So after football, did a lot in the schools and just going in there as a male role model locally, really, in regards to, a lot of these kids come back from, broken homes, single mums, and obviously dad had ditched and gone kind of thing. So it was just nice to go in there. Did that for about a year, which was really rewarding. Meeting young kids, try to get over a few anger issues and try to guide them. And then worked with Peter's wife, and he worked for Farrell Hayworth and the estate agents, and he just said, you've got a gift of a gab, you talk, you're a people's person and people like you. So have you ever thought about going into it? And I was like, I'll give anything a go.
Exactly, give it a go, give it a try and see how you fare.
Yeah, so I've been there, I think 7 years this year actually now. So, it is a career, now manager at the Barrow branch up there. So obviously a bit of travelling involved, but it's just one of them things. It's a career, it's a pathway. And then, I just want to continue doing what I'm doing, hopefully get back closer to Morecambe, Lancaster and maybe like run one of them branches. But yeah, it's been great on the job side of things. I've got 2 young girls, obviously got married, what you normally do when you get old, I think. From that perspective.
Old? You're not old.
38. I'm
still in your prime.
Well, yeah.
That's nothing.
We're still playing. Kev's playing. He's 42, so still got another 4 years.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Like you got tons of footballers now. We're getting older and older. Who are still playing. Just look at Ronaldo. How old's he now? 32, 3?
36. Yeah, 36.
God, forget that then.
Older, yeah.
God.
But it's been a wonderful career, and obviously, I appreciate you asking me to come on here. It's just nice to reminisce.
Right. Not a problem.
And somehow, without the head in the ball dementia kind of stuff, I can still remember a lot of the stuff that we've done.
It's been a pleasure. But one thing I can't forgive you for is going to bloody Lancaster City. I can't forgive you for that, mate.
More financial, that was. That wasn't all to do with... It was wanting to still play, but ultimately, part-time, getting a little bit of money as well to support the family. So it was just one of them for me. It was, probably shouldn't have done it, but ultimately, when you're getting paid a couple of £100 to play, it was, part-time as well.
Absolutely. It helps you out.
Yeah, there's some unbelievable money in these lower leagues, at the moment. Look at what's happening at Wrexham. They'll be a team that are going to be bankrolled for a lot of years, really. So I know Hornchurch tried to do it a few times, but obviously that fell on its arse. But yeah, these big conference teams now are just as big as League One Morecambe. They've got probably more money than Morecambe. But
yeah, you do see it. You do 100%. See it quite a lot.
But you just got. You see Morecambe actually stability, finances are all in the right places now, Michael. So, long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, also, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. You've been great. Couldn't ask for a better guest to start off with.
No, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Some would say that I'd started off too high.
That's what the rest of me will probably start saying. But no, from that, no. I think whoever you get on here, it's going to be a joy to have a conversation with you. I wish you all the best with it, and like I say, long may it continue. Welcome with the Shrimps.
Thank you very much, mate. It's been a pleasure.
No worries, Michael. Anytime.
Thank you very much. And that is the end of ShrimpsTV Talk with Danny Carlton. So thank you very much, Danny. And would you come on again if I ask you?
Yeah, I might have to charge next time. Though. 45 minutes of your time here.
No, honestly, mate, it's been a pleasure.
No worries, mate.
Thank you very much.